So I don't know what's going on with these patch notes because we received a bunch of nerfs today with a couple minor buffs, and we'll go ahead and talk through them. There were some bug fixes. We fixed an issue that was causing an issue where you'd always take some gas damage before they put on the gas mask. Fixed an issue that caused the incorrect amount of armor to be applied when equipping or picking up tempered, and that's where it would take away half a plate. Fixed an issue that caused unintentional lighting change on Caldera, so it's going to look good again instead of that muggy look that it's been. Fixed an issue that caused last live player card to display the incorrect text. Fixed an issue that caused some season 4 reloaded calling cards to display incorrectly. Weapon adjustments. We got the Vargo S. Ended up getting a muzzle velocity buff. This is one thing that I kind of was holding off to cover it because the gun was really in a bad spot where it wasn't even worth covering because of the muzzle velocity. Now they're going to force you to use this specific barrel, and we'll kind of see how that works and how that feels, because there was a lot of hit reg issues. If you have low bullet velocity, you're usually going to have bad hit reg. We got the NZ-41, which gets another nerf. The locational damage for the head has been reduced from 1.5 down to 1.3, and then shot deviation increased. So that should make the recoil harder to use, and it should be a game changer in terms of it almost being unusable. And that's sometimes why it sucks to put out at best top 10 loadouts and those types of things so quickly, because they often do make these changes. You kind of got to let the stuff settle out, and obviously the NZ is probably not going to be within the top long range meta after that. I would imagine that the 7th time the charm where they put that thing into the dirt. KG got a buff and a nerf. They decreased the headshot, and then they increased the neck shot, so now they're the same. And that'll make it so that you get that consistency, but I'm not sure exactly how that's going to impact the shot values. Volk, they got the min damage, which is the long range damage, so it's still going to be that up close monster up to about 30 meters if you're using kind of more of a sniper support build, but the long range will do a little bit less damage. Then they nerfed this specific barrel. With all these other ones, you get the range, muzzle velocity, vertical recoil. So on that one, that will hurt that gun, but obviously if you're keeping it close, not as big an issue. The range one kind of does make it annoying for those closer ranges. And then we got the damage range reduction for this one. And then in terms of the kilo, they couldn't leave it alone. The long range damage was 23 forever, so that'll kind of make it there. They saw that it jumped the KD, so this is kind of put in line. So this should have been the original nerf they did anyways. It's something that I mentioned a long time ago. They should have kind of balanced it out that way, but overall, I don't think a lot of people are using the kilo because that 3 to 6x optic is the problem. I know people love the kilo, but if you're playing Caldera, that's an issue. On Rebirth and Fortune's Keep, not a big issue. You just use the VOK. SMG. Some of the more recent additions to the submachine gun category have been dominant. Armaguerra now, a little bit slower movement. You get a bigger penalty if you use the 34. This thing was broken, but really hard to use. They weakened the 72 round mag. They increased the range and the movement penalty. So the damage is still the same there. Then the Emerito, the ADS move speed bonus decreased to 18%. And this was the meta build that everyone was jumping on. So a little bit slower movement. Down that 2%. Not a huge difference, but we'll see how that feels. Then the Marco got an ADS nerf where they made it a little bit slower by 10 milliseconds, which is a little bit more than half a frame at 60 FPS. And the vertical recoil increase, which this was kind of like my front runner. I think this was the all-around best SMG right before this. I know the Armaguerra had its moments, the Blixen has its moments, but I think the Marco was the all-around. I think it's still going to be the one, especially after some of these changes to the quote-unquote meta build of the Armaguerra. Then we have the Blixen. They reduced the max damage. That's the up close damage. Max damage range decreased by down to 8 meters from 9, so a 1 meter difference, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for as many in close range engagements, 1 meter could be the make or break for that build. They slowed it down by 20 milliseconds, which is a little bit over a frame. The muzzle velocity decreased by a lot. Movement speed. Oh, this is the meta builds too, right? The 54. Holy, and then they slowed this down even more. And then pistols, this is again is the Diamatti. They made it so that all the damage multipliers are 1x. Probably when akimbo, it doesn't even say that, but I guess they just lowered it all out. We like the headshot thrown in the mix to achieve a 3-shot kill while it's max. So they left the headshot, but everything else is down to even distribution there. Light machine gun, Whitley. The biggest problem with the Whitley is the mag size is not big enough, but we have the shrouded. The range decreased to 20% from 30%, so that's a buff. This one is also range increase to a buff, and then the British rounds damage penalty. Damage range. Okay, so this is a buff just on mostly on ranges. And then shotguns, they did nerf it. Holy! The max damage decreased. I put out one little clip of Huskers getting destroyed in 5 milliseconds, and they nerfed it immediately. Min pellet, and then we also have brace, got a slight minor nerf. That's a 1% difference. So we'll see kind of what happens. Most of the stuff will probably be the same, I would imagine, but there's going to be some that just feels slightly off. And I think the biggest one that you'll probably notice is this NZ-41. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Appreciate all the support on the content. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.